Hello poultry farmers, welcome to my channel dedicated to everything related to broiler poultry farming. Today we just want to talk about how you can raise broilers to a good maximum weight. As you have seen how I've been keeping my chickens, they've been growing very big. I'm sure you've seen the other videos that I make weighing my chickens at 5 weeks, and they are weighing a good beautiful weight that you can even sell at a good price. So most of the time I sell my chickens at 5 weeks, and I just want to give you the fundamentals and the essentials that you need to do in order for you to get the weights that I get. So as we all know, feed is getting expensive, and most of the time you find like there's a shortage of feed, especially here in Lusaka. So the last time I was buying feed, like for these beds that I'm having, I had to go and buy it to showgrounds. Just imagine, just coming from Lusaka West to go to showground and go and buy feed at showgrounds. If you are having challenges where to find feed, go to showgrounds, you'll find the feed there. So let's dive in and go ahead and see what we can do in order for us to get good quality weight of the beds. As we know, if our beds grow very well, that means we're gonna sell at a good price without even having challenges to sell the beds. As we all know, as poultry farmers, we all know if we have big beds, big chickens that are looking very big, that is giving the customers an appetizing touch of wanting to buy, even if they're trying to change their mind. These are the essentials that I'll give you on this video. I'll make sure I'll give you in a short period of time without wasting a lot of time, because these essentials, some of the essentials which are needed are on my other videos, which you can watch at your own particular time that you want. So number one, I always mention this, it is management. And when I talk about management, mostly the thing that I emphasize on is ventilation. You know, when you are dealing with ventilation, because your chickens, for them to grow very well, they need good ventilation. Even during brooding time, you don't just cross everywhere. Like I mentioned in some other videos, you don't have to cross everywhere. You have to leave some gap where hair will be getting in. Fresh air coming in, old hair going out, which is good for the beds. So management of ventilation is very important, even during brooding time. You don't just cross everywhere because you want to contain the heat so that you don't use a lot of heat sources. No, you don't have to do that, because at the end you won't get good quality results. You need fresh air all the time. So another thing during brooding is following the temperature parameters that are needed at a particular time. How old the beds are is what you need. So most of the time, people don't know, and they don't have thermometers in their poultry farm. They don't even know what's the temperature in their poultry room, which is not good. I always tell my people, please have a thermometer, and it's cheap. You know, poultry thermometers are cheap. It's not like they're too expensive and stuff like that. And then another thing, water. Make sure you use clean water. And during brooding time, make sure you don't put a lot of water in your drinkers, because chickens, when they're small, they don't drink a lot of water. So you don't need a lot of water. You just need a good size of water, whereby your chickens can only drink maybe approximately, I can say, because there's a lot of heat in the room, because of you're brooding them. So that water tends to get hot. So you don't need a lot of water. So what I can advise is at least put water that will last only maybe 3 hours, so that you can change water regularly when you are brooding, so that they don't have to drink water which is warm. That is very important. And make sure you use water which is not chlorinated. Make sure you use water that is not chlorinated. Then another thing is the beddings. Make sure your beddings are dry and clean. Avoid wet litter at all costs. Avoid that, because they will affect the hair of the room. They will start producing ammonia if they are wet. So that's why you need about 6 inches of sawdust or whatever you are using for bedding, so that you don't even, especially when broiler chickens, we don't keep them for too long. For me, I keep them, when my bed's about 5 weeks, 3 days to 4 days, I'm already selling. The moment they are reaching 6 weeks, my beds are already halfway gone. That's what usually happens with me. So I make sure I put a good amount of litter in my poultry to make sure that I don't have to keep on changing and changing, because you get tired. But if you don't have enough shavings or maybe whatever you are using, you can use a little, but make sure you keep on topping up so that you have at least a good bedding that can at least last you until the day of sale. If you can put that, I know like your beds will last long there and they won't have any problem with ammonia. And make sure you don't close all the curtains and all the windows. Make sure you have everything in good place. And another important factor is poultry farmers will contact me, they'll comment on my videos and say which one is the best booster for the beds. So what comes into my head is, I'm sure they are having a problem with growth of the chickens. But as a matter of fact, if you follow these that I've outlined there, you won't have problems with growth because you followed the procedures which are essential. So if people haven't followed what I've just mentioned earlier on, they will have a problem with growth of the beds. Sometimes at 4 weeks, the beds are having a challenge to grow at a pace they need to grow. I've experienced that before and I know what could be the problem. So just follow me through this video. You'll be able to understand the procedure that you need and what you miss out most of the time. Number one, because I know feed, like I've mentioned, is getting expensive. There's always shortage of feed. But make sure if you're doing this business and you want to make profit out of this business, get good quality feed. Get the best feed. Before you even start this business, ask which ones are the good feeds that you need to use. I know good feed is expensive, but it will give you a profit at the end of the day, at the end of your period of keeping your chickens. Good quality feed. Okay? And the other thing that poultry farmers miss is this. Most poultry farmers will feed starter accordingly. Then when it comes to grower, they want to feed grower until the beds are for sale. That is very, very wrong. I've seen that several times. I've tried that before and I've seen the difference and I've seen the big difference which is there. One thing I'll tell you, according to the procedure they've given you, follow that procedure. I've taken my time to look at the ingredients, the proteins, and each and everything on the feed of the grower and the feed of the finisher. I've taken my time to study them and take a look at the percentages which are the differences in their feeding. All the nutrients which are there, the differences in percentages, I've seen them and I've studied them and I've tried to understand. So I did that, grower until I sell. Then I changed my mind. I fed starter, grower, and finisher. And the results are the best. The best result you can ever get is if you follow the sequence from starter, grower, and finisher according to the way they are prescribed on those feeding guides. Feed them that way, you will see the good results. And if you have all these other things in order. Then when the beds reach at 4 weeks, most of the time beds tend to have a little bit of diarrhea, depending on the feeding intake. Because at 4 weeks, you don't feed beds 24 hours. You have some hours which you keep them free without eating. That is very important. We call them dark time. On that procedure, when you buy your beds, they will give you the procedure. This is the time you need to keep these beds without eating, at least for 4 to 3 hours. Just like that, you need to follow that as well for you to get good quality way of beds at the end. So feed them accordingly. Don't just feed grow until you sell. No. Then another thing is in the first weeks, of course, like the first 2 to 3 weeks, you need to feed your beds 24 hours throughout. They need to feed. Then you get good quality results. Then lastly, which is supposed to be the best of all, bleed. you need to choose the best breed that suits you. Okay, I can say there's no best breed, but you need to have the right breed, because breed is also one of the essential things that you need to know. Like, if I keep this breed, I'll have good quality birds. If I keep these breeds, it will take time for them to reach that maximum weight that I need. There are birds which grow fast to reach their maximum weight that you need. My birds, the ones that I keep, 5 weeks, 3 days, I'm selling, because they are about 3.4, 3.5 kg, 3.6, 3.7 kg. Okay, it's different with the other birds, the other breeds. So I can tell you, like, if you go with tiger chicks, 5 weeks, 3 days, and if you follow the procedure and the management and the essentials that I'm mentioning in this video, 5 weeks, 3 days, 5 weeks, 4 days, you'll get your birds for sale. 6 weeks, you're halfway even finishing up your birds, depending on the marketing that you're having with yourself. Then with roes, of course, they grow very well, but they won't grow as fast as tiger chicks. So you have to choose from there. But if you are a beginner into poultry farming, I advise you go for roes breeders, because they have low mortality rate compared to tiger chicks. But for me, even tiger chicks, for me, they have low mortality rate because of the experience that I have and the type of medications that I usually use on these birds, because I know them very well, because I've been in this business. And you know, being in the business is not like I've been just finding out, I've been just doing this thing, then it just works out like that. No, it's because I've been with a lot of farmers, because it's not everything that I know about poultry farming, but there's something that I know that somebody else doesn't know, and there's something that somebody knows that I don't know. So this is why I always seek advice and ask, oh, how do you keep these birds? How come you are managing them like this? How come they're this way? They give you information. You learn from them, then you also give them what you have. So learn from others as much as possible. Like from my videos, you can learn a lot and you benefit a lot. So make sure you watch my videos, and please, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe and turn a notification bell so that you don't miss each and every video that I post. Because this time around we've been away for some time, but now we are back and we're gonna make good quality videos to help poultry farmers maximize their profit in broiler poultry farming. As we know, feed is getting expensive, the dollar is going high, but at the end of the day, we need to make a profit. So consider subscribing if you are new to this channel, and if you are already a subscriber, please give me a thumbs up and like the video so that I can see that you are watching these videos and you are getting essential, important points so that you can succeed in your poultry journey. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.